Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. My name is Jess. I upload videos once a week, usually bookish content with a little bit of lifestyle thrown in for good measure, and today's video is going to be all about my goals, hopes, aspirations, however you want to describe them, for 2021. And I have a couple of reading ones, and then I have a couple that kind of relate to my channel and the wider bookish community as well. So let's jump in and start talking about them. I've got them written down on my phone, so I'm going to be looking back down at my phone to make sure that I don't forget anything, but just kind of to say, I use the word goals. I am a very goal orientated person, but one of my kind of personal aims this year is to be a little bit kinder to myself, particularly in terms of comparisons and numbers and statistics and that kind of thing. So although I'm quite a goal driven person, we can view these more as intentions or aims or hopes, because if I don't achieve them, then that's also fine, and I'm going to be kinder to myself about that. But you'll understand a little bit more why I'm saying that in a moment. So first, in terms of my reading goals, whether you use Goodreads, the Storygraph, your own tracker, I've set my Goodreads goal this year at 60 books. It works out at about 5 books a month. It was what my goal was last year. Pretty sure it's what my goal was in 2019 as well. I just was slightly under, I think, in 2019 and slightly over in 2020, so it felt about right. I did briefly toy with increasing it for this year, but I read for enjoyment. I read for escapism and decompression, and I read because I'm in the mood to read. And I feel like if I got towards the end of 2021, say, and I'd set my goal at 75 and I'd only read 70, I would feel an unnecessary push to have to read 5 books even if I didn't really want to read them, and that's not what the reading experience is about for me. So I kept it at 60, easy. Whether I read 60, whether I don't read 60, it's fine. We're being kinder to ourselves this year. The next goal or aim, aspiration that I have is the same as it has been for the last couple of years, so it won't be a surprise if you're not new here, and that is to make a dent in my unread books. I filmed an unread books video in 2019, and I also filmed one in 2017, so I'm not going to redo one this year. Hasn't changed that much from 2019, to be honest. There has obviously been some fluctuation with books read and books added, but not enough for me to sit and film a whole other video. But I seem to be struggling. So last year and the year before, I made my goal that I was going to have a book buying ban, and I was only going to read books that I already owned. And the reason, I don't know why it doesn't work, other than I think it stirs some form of rebellion within me, where I immediately then want to go out and buy a load of books, which is just so not the point of the goal. So what I've decided to do is, instead, I've made a spreadsheet of all my unread books so that I can try to keep a proper tally and track of what I am reading, and also what I'm going to be adding in throughout the year. Because I think as well, going back to being kinder to ourselves, I'm probably doing better than I think I'm doing in terms of reading the books that I already own. It's just that the pile that is literally behind the camera, directly opposite me, doesn't feel like it's going down all that much. So yeah, I've made a spreadsheet. I'm going to try and keep a track of that, and I am loosely going to say to myself that I don't need to buy any more books, with a few exceptions. I run a book club, so I will need to buy the book club book for the month, and I will circle back and talk more about the book club later. And then also, another goal that I'm going to talk about in a minute is about finishing series. Now, I own the first and second book in a number of different series, so if a book is if a series is finished and I could buy all the books in that series and finish a series, I will also allow myself the freedom to buy books. And I'm just not gonna be restrictive about it. I'm not gonna go out and splurge on a load of books throughout the year. I'm gonna try and be intentional and consistent. Try being the operative word, and just keep a track of it. And like I say, I'm probably doing better than I'm giving myself credit for. So yeah, that's the next goal, because as well, you know, before I joined BookTube, I would buy a small stack of books, I would read those books, and then I would buy another small stack of books and I would read those books. And it's only since joining the BookTube community and just kind of being overwhelmed and bombarded with people talking about these amazing books and then desperately wanting to read them, and I got into a really bad habit of buying books and buying books and buying books much faster than I could actually consume them. And obviously now it's turned into these hundreds of books that I haven't yet read, and I have some really amazing books in my pile that I desperately want to get to, but if I keep adding new books in, it's not going to happen, is it? So the kind of general aspiration for next year is to read more of what I already own rather than bringing it in, and hopefully with the tracker and the spreadsheet I will be able to see that there is more of a balance there. That's the aim anyway. So yes, I'm going to work on my unread books. I'm going to try not to buy new books, and then as I said, I'm going to try and finish the series that I have started, and I'm going to try not to start any new series where the books have not all been released. If it hasn't been concluded, I'm going to try not to start it, because I've really enjoyed this year being able to binge read a number of series and just go bang 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 bang, rather than having to read a book and then wait a year or a couple of years and then read the next book. So if on my unread TBR there are any that I can just read from start to finish, then that is what I'm going to try and prioritise, because I do enjoy reading a good trilogy or two, and it's nice to kind of read a book, as I say, be able to read it from its start to its conclusion within a few months. It's quite a good feeling. So that's that one, and they are basically all my reading goals for 2021. Goals, aims, we'll see how we get on. And now I want to briefly talk about, it's not going to be brief, let's be honest, if you know me, get ready for Waffle Town. I want to talk about my channel goals and my slightly wider social media goals, because I'm not very great at that, and I feel like being accountable to people is always a good thing. I'm not embarrassed to talk about numbers or statistics or anything like that. As I say, I feel like saying them out loud makes me accountable to people. So I'm aware that I am a slow growing channel. There are people who started last week who have more subscribers than me now. There are people who started at the same time as me that are now into 20, 30, 40,000 subscribers. Some people have passed the 100,000 subscriber mark and beyond, and I just very consistently tick along doing what I do. I don't know why. I don't know if it's my content, I don't know if it's my posting schedule, I don't know if it's me. I don't know the reason why I don't seem to have that level of growth, but obviously I would like to have some forward momentum with my channel this year. I've been on BookTube, I think it's 4 years, if not 5, and I've gained 3,500 subscribers, give or take, in that time. For 2021, I've set my goal at 5,000, and I know that that might seem like a real stretch. I went backwards and forwards on just increasing it by 500, by 1,000, and then I thought, no, do you know what, I would love to make that milestone. I would love to somehow get that. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I would love to set that in the sand and say, this is where I would like to be by the end of 2021. I would like to be at 5,000 subscribers, so that is what I'm doing. I'm going to be confident, I'm going to be open about what I want to do. That is what I would like to do. Equally, I am not very good at self-promotion. It's something that I need to be kind to myself about in general. If you don't know, I have a full-time job alongside doing this. I am a manager in an anti-poverty charity. I'm not very kind to myself in terms of that job. I'm certainly not very kind to myself in terms of this either. It takes a lot of time and effort to create content, to plan content, to film and edit and upload content, and I'm great at doing all of that. What I'm not so good at is the promotional part of it, and the self-promotional part of it, and the sharing about what I'm doing part of it. I always feel cripplingly embarrassed about sharing what I'm doing, and then I feel envious of people who are not, and I don't know why. And I will see people do stuff that I'm already doing and making a big fuss about it, and people going, wow, that's amazing, and I feel like just waving my little flag over here saying, but I was already doing that. So yeah, I'm going to be better. I'm going to try and be better at it this year, and one of those things involves growing my Patreon community. So if you don't know, I have a Patreon page, and there are two options. There is an option just to support this channel. As I say, it takes time and effort to produce content, to put content out. If you felt like you wanted to support me in a monetary way in doing that, that is great. I have an option for that. If you wanted to support me in a sharing way, you know, sharing on social media and telling people about the channel and telling people about my Instagram and all that kind of stuff, that is equally useful and very helpful, and I am extremely grateful for everybody who does that already and people who will do it. Thank you very much. It means a huge amount to me. As part of the Patreon community, I also have a book club, and I launched it in the summer last year, and it has been so good. I love our end of month live chats. I love getting to know the members and building friendships and relationships, talking about books but also talking about life stuff and beyond, and I would love for that to grow this year. I haven't set a number on that. I mean, personally I would like for it to double, but you know, I'm not going to be so prescriptive about that. I just know that it is a really wonderful community, and I would like more people to come and be a part of it. And one of the things that we're doing in 2021 is each month we're picking a different genre and reading a book so that we can stretch our reading experiences as members. So in January we're reading fantasy. There are quite a few members who have never read any fantasy, and they're being really brave and jumping into it, and hopefully they're gonna love it, but they might not. And so yeah, and like last year in November we read a modern classic. I'm not a big classics reader, so it stretches me as well, but it's just a really wonderful, lovely community, and I would love to see that grow this year, and I need to be better at talking about it and sharing about it. I do mention it in most of my videos in terms of I've read this book because it's my book club book, but I'm not really pushy about it, and I don't want to be pushy about it, but at the same time I would like to see the community grow and increase. So I will leave links to my Patreon page and also more information about the book club in the description bar down below. If you want to go and have a look, that would be wonderful. If you want to join us, that would be amazing. So yeah, there's that. I want to grow my channel and I want to grow my Patreon community, and then as an aside, it's not really connected here, I don't think, I want to grow my Instagram. I'm also the worst. I'm so slow at growth on Instagram, and I really love the pictures that I put out. You know, I'm not trying to be like a big head or anything, but I think that I take pretty good pictures. And I love the photography element of it and the creativity of it all, but again, I'm not very good at growing in terms of numbers. And although I said at the start that I was going to be kinder to myself about numbers, I meant in comparison to other people. So looking at what other people are doing and thinking, well, they're doing that, and look at the numbers that they're getting, why am I not getting that? And trying not to be disheartened in the comparison. That doesn't mean that I don't want to, I'm going to try not to take such an account of numbers, but I do want to have that forward motion, and I do want to grow and expand and move and progress. So I'm kind of saying these numbers now, and then the hope is that I can put those down, carry on with what I'm doing, and see where I end up. Yeah, so it's kind of a funny one, because I'm saying, oh, I'm not going to be focused on numbers, and then I'm sitting here literally talking about numbers. But yeah, it's just kind of the aim would be for the channel to grow, for the community to grow. And I said to carry on with what I'm doing. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to start doing little changes, trying new things, being consistent, being creative. One of the things that I definitely did when I started my channel was I was more creative with the types of footage that I was filming and capturing, and I've lost that a little bit. It's almost gone a little bit boring, with most of it just being me sitting here, and I would like to try and get that back a little bit. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure in what context. I'm not going to make any huge alterations or changes, but the thing that I really love about YouTube and about Instagram and all the kind of online stuff is the creativity, and it has given me a real opportunity to develop skills and hone skills and put the creative side of myself out there, and I would like to get that back a little bit. I think I've lost it a tiny bit, and I would like to get that back. I think one of the things that people used to comment a long time ago was how creative my vlogs were. I don't get that so much anymore. So yeah, I would like to try and get that back a little bit. And then the final thing that I'm going to talk about is just like a little announcement. I am going to be launching a new series with James. It's going to be a monthly series. Originally we were considering doing a podcast, but honestly, in terms of like, we both have full-time jobs. I do this, I do Instagram, I have a blog, we have 2 children, we have 2 dogs. You know, we have a lot going on, and adding a podcast into the mix when we didn't really know how it was going to go just felt like a step too far. So what we are going to do instead is like a video series, and the reason that we're doing it is because I often get asked for input from James. I get asked for like fantasy recommendations, I get asked what's James reading now, what are you up to as a family, and even just more generic questions about him. And so we thought that it was kind of a good way of bringing everything into one, so we can talk about what we're reading, we can talk about recommendations, we can answer questions about family life and parenting and marriage and all that kind of stuff. Although books is going to be the main focus, we can inject a little bit of who we are into it as well. So if you do have any questions, any burning questions that you would like to ask us, then do leave those in the comments down below. I already have a little stack from Instagram that we're going to work through to start with. But yeah, it's just going to be a way of kind of bringing all of that together in a little video series. Haven't quite decided on the name yet. We've landed on one that's a little bit of an innuendo, and I can't decide if I love it or if it's too risky. So we have another option that we're kind of going backwards and forwards over, and who knows, if it goes really, really well, then maybe we will move it over to a podcast. But for now, it's just going to be a video series, 1 episode a month towards the end of the month, so do keep your eye out for that as well. And that is it. I said I was going to talk really briefly. I didn't do that. I am aware that I didn't do that. So if you made it to the end, thank you very much. Leave me a comment, let me know what some of your reading life aspirations are for 2021. I would love to know. If you enjoyed this video, please give me the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I hope that you are all keeping safe and staying well, and I will see you soon.